Cypher, ex-member of the Nebuchadnezzar and traitor of humanity. This red pill betrayed his crewmates for a chance to return to the Matrix. Unlike the other members of the team, who each had a clear and direct objective, Cypher's actions may have been incomprehensible to some. Previously, in our History of series, we've looked into the stories of Agent Smith and the Architect. Today, it's Cypher's turn. Many see him as a traitor, but others see him as a visionary. Which is it? Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
The story begins with Mr. Reagan, the blue pill. Like some of the other red pills, Reagan was contacted by Morpheus and was offered the truth about the Matrix. Though he couldn't tell him the truth, Reagan had to see it for himself. Mr. Reagan chose the red pill and was awakened to a world of nightmares, also known as the real world. Reagan adopted the name Cypher and began his journey into becoming a red pill and a member of the resistance. He joined Morpheus's crew, and during one mission, he helped free two blue pills, Ghost and Trinity. He would soon develop romantic feelings towards Trinity. His feelings for Trinity would go unrequited, as she was told by the Oracle that she was going to fall in love with the prophesied savior of humanity, whom Cypher was not. It was around this time that Cypher began to distance himself from the cause and started to question his choices. Cypher now had to live with Trinity's rejection while helping Morpheus find the supposed savior. They eventually find Neo, but in one of the original scenes in the Matrix movie script that was never filmed, Neo wasn't the first person Morpheus thought was the one. In this removed scene, Cypher's conversation with Neo on board the ship was different. Cypher warned Neo about Morpheus. He tells him that before Neo, there were 5 other people that Morpheus believed were the one. Each of them died. This means that within the 9 years Cypher was a red pill, he helped Morpheus awaken these 5 potentials and witness their deaths because they all believed in Morpheus, just like he did once. They all died because they were convinced that they were the one. This undoubtedly crushed Cypher's morale and his trust in Morpheus, frequently wondering if his life would have been better inside the Matrix. His respect and admiration for Morpheus quietly turned into disillusion and hatred. That, coupled with Trinity's rejection and the poor and dangerous living conditions of the real world, Cypher came to a pragmatic decision. To avoid further suffering, he had to return to the simulation. Here is where the Matrix film begins. There are 2 things to note about Trinity and Cypher's conversation at the beginning of the movie. 1. Cypher is jealous of Neo. And 2. Trinity notices that their communication is being traced.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
Are you sure this line is clean?
Yeah, of course I'm sure.
I better go.
Also note that it was Cypher's turn to watch Neo, not Trinity's.
You weren't supposed to relieve me.
I know, but I felt like taking a shift.
You like him, don't you? You like watching him.
Don't be ridiculous.
We're gonna kill him. You understand that?
Trinity gets ambushed by the agents and escapes, but the agents acquired new information on a person of interest, Neo.
We have the name of their next target.
The name is Neo.
We'll need a search running.
It has already begun.
The fact that the agents were able to trace communications, find Trinity so quickly, and obtain valuable information on Morpheus's new target all points to Cypher already cooperating to a certain degree with the agents, or he was, at the very least, sending a message that he wanted to help them. Cypher was a talented operator. He was able to manipulate the ship's computer to hide his meeting with the agents. So to think that Cypher did not know that the call was being traced is being naive. A known constant between the film's script and the film itself is that Cypher warned Neo of danger. As we mentioned earlier, in the film script, Cypher warned Neo about Morpheus. In the movie, he warns them about the agents.
Little piece of advice.
You see an agent, you do what we do. Run. You run your ass off.
Cypher had already lost all hope in Morpheus and Zion long before the film began. He made his choice to make a deal with the enemy for one last chance at happiness.
I don't want to remember nothing. Nothing. You understand? And I want to be rich.
Over a steak dinner at a very fancy restaurant, Cypher and Smith made a deal. The man's reconnection to the Matrix with no memories of the past 9 years and with a better life in exchange for Zion's access codes. Cypher doesn't know them, but he knows someone who does. The man who made the mistake of freeing him and whom Cypher carries much resentment.
Morpheus.
On the day Morpheus decides to take Neo to meet the Oracle, Cypher drops his phone in a nearby trash can to serve as a beacon for the agents to find. The agents would capture Morpheus and let Cypher go, and make it seem that he had escaped.
Cypher.
Yeah, there was an accident. Goddamn car accident. All of a sudden, boom! Somebody up there still likes me.
Cypher is the first to get out of the Matrix, and then he subsequently begins to kill his crewmates. All but Morpheus. That was part of the deal. Here is when Cypher bears his feelings for Trinity and goes on a rant about how Morpheus lied to them all.
He tricked us. If you would have told us the truth, we would have told you to shove that red pill right up your ass.
However, Cypher wasn't going to be satisfied with just killing Trinity. He wanted her to suffer by having her watch her beloved Neo die. Did Cypher ever believe in the prophecy? Did he at one point have faith in Morpheus? Possibly, but life and the truth turned him into a miserable and cynical human being. He remembers the Matrix as a place of opportunity and happiness. However, before Cypher was to complete his part of the deal, he wanted to prove to Trinity and himself that Morpheus was always wrong by killing the One.
I mean, if Neo's the one, then there'd have to be some kind of a miracle to stop me. Right? I mean, how can he be the one if he's dead?
As Cypher said, if Neo was the one, then something should stop him from killing him.
I don't believe it.
Cypher's last words meant more than him simply being in disbelief that Tank was still alive. They meant that Cypher was wrong in abandoning everything he was taught. Cypher's life has ended, but his legacy lived on. He will go on to inspire other Red Pills who wish to stop fighting the machines and return to the Matrix. This group is known as the Cypherites. Cypher's life story is one full of disappointment. The story of a man who went from being a believer to a traitor, a Red Pill that once had hope in the person who freed him, to then resent him because of it. Looking back and realizing the control the machines had over the Red Pills, Zion, and the supposed savior makes us wonder if Cypher made the right choice. But do you agree? What do you think about Cypher? Should we hate him or pity him? In the description below, we will leave a link to the playlist of this series of videos in case you want to see all the in-depth histories of the Matrix characters. Also, leave a suggestion in the comments of which character you would like us to make a video on next.
For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.